There is no joy in Washington. The players and owners leave town. Congress turns its back and the baseball strike drags on. The Gangster Disciples of Chicago, an ABC News investigation of a vicious street gang that has gone nationwide. And 50 years later, the Miller mood lives on.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with baseball as a political football. There was no particular surprise last night when President Clinton failed to resolve the baseball strike. The owners and players have been paralyzed by money for months. After trying and failing to jawbone a resolution last night, Mr. Clinton tried to enlist the Congress and thus force binding arbitration. The Republican leadership says no, baseball may be the national pastime, but this is not a national emergency. So our first report on the politics of this from John Cochran on Capitol Hill.
The president's baseball mediator, Bill Usery, went to Capitol Hill hoping to get Republican leaders to support the Clinton peace plan, a plan to force binding arbitration on both sides. But Usery had no more luck with Republicans than he has had with players and owners.
We're very reluctant to have Congress get involved in this. We've been talking about getting government out of things, not into things.
We don't want to set the precedent that every time there's a problem, they come to the U.S. Congress to get some kind of legislation.
Republican leaders point to other bitter labor disputes like the Caterpillar strike and say, why do for baseball what we don't do for others? But some on Capitol Hill do support the president's initiatives, and others like Dick Gephardt admit they don't know what to do. No one in Congress now has ever played in the majors, with the exception of Republican Jim Bunning, a former pitcher who says his leader, Newt Gingrich, just doesn't get it.
The speaker's never had to live under the Sherman antitrust exemption like I did for 27 years.
Bunning is complaining about the special treatment baseball owners get. For years, owners have persuaded Congress that theirs is not a business, but a game, which requires that they have unique ownership rights over their players. But the players have an important ally in Republican Senator Orrin Hatch, who threatens to try to repeal part of the antitrust exemption.
I really believe that there's a small clique of owners who are greedy, who want to stick it to the players so that they can dominate this game without having the players have really virtually any say in the game.
Gingrich thinks both sides have created a tragedy.
I think both sides are wrong. I've suggested that they seriously consider just opening the season, escrowing half the player's salary and all of the owner's profits, and letting them sit in the bank and gather interest while they fight, but not depriving either the people who work in the ballparks or the cities, or frankly the fans, of a baseball season.
Even though Republican leaders accuse the president of trying to pass the buck to Congress, they refuse to rule out the possibility of government intervention later. They figure that for now they can leave this problem on the president's desk. But Republicans know that come warm weather, the country may demand that they play ball with the president. John Cochran, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
This is Brit Hume at the White House, where the president, needing congressional help, was careful today not to criticize Republican leaders for their hesitance to step into the baseball strike.
They should be reluctant. I was reluctant. We're all reluctant. If we had a baseball commissioner, none of us would have been in here. I respect their reluctance.
Mr. Clinton said he had no regrets for having tried to resolve the strike.
No, because if I hadn't named a federal mediator without a baseball commissioner, then I would have felt that we hadn't gone the last mile to try to help resolve it. So I'm glad I named Mr. Usery. He did the very best he could, and I still hope they'll work it out.
The president's staff, meanwhile, was blaming the parties for the outcome of Mr. Clinton's mediation effort.
If there was a failure here, it was on the part of the players and the owners who've not stepped up to their responsibility to get on with the business of settling this strike and allowing this season to proceed.
A few blocks away, meanwhile, the players were leaving town and still getting reminders of how much people care about baseball. All signs were that the two sides are as far apart as ever, and that the players had not thought much of the ideas for a settlement suggested by presidential mediator Usery.
It's a very strange proposal. It was entirely one-sided. I take Usery at his word that it was not meant to be a recommendation.
For their part, the owners were expressing no enthusiasm for the binding arbitration the president has now asked Congress to impose. Some were still talking of going ahead with replacement players.
So we have 30,000